Hi everyone, it's Joanna Krzepkowska with Coldwell Banker. I want to talk to you today about out-of-pocket expenses when buying a house. So when we're making a decision that we want to be a homeowners and we're starting to search for the house, sometimes we forget how much complex that transaction is and what are certain steps we have to take in order to close on the house and how much money we really do need. Because down payment is one thing, but there's a lot of things that those little tiny things that come to play when buying a house that sometimes we just don't think about. So this video is really dedicated to to talk a little bit more about the out of pocket expenses you have when purchasing a house. So once you're ready, once you have your pre-approval, once you start searching and finding a right house, you're putting an offer on it. If your offer gets accepted, then of course the first out-of-pocket expense that you have to remember is earnest money. So earnest money is a part of your down payment that you have to give to the sellers in good faith for buying a house. So usually it's 1 to 3%. It really depends on the transaction. I wouldn't really hope that we can get away with less than 1%. 1% is really a good amount of money to put down as a earnest money. So you have to think about this. Usually with my clients, we offer 1%, but if there is a situation that we have multiple offers and we know that we will be putting, for example, 5 or 10 or 15 or 20% down payment, sometimes we will spike that up into like up to 3%. I wouldn't probably give more than 3%. I mean, we did in the past. It really depends on the situation, but 1% is the minimum you have to think of. And of course, it's my job to negotiate with the sellers if that 1% would be acceptable or if they actually need more. But minimum of 1%. And please remember, this is not the blank check. You're just giving it and they're going to keep it in a safe and they will never deposit. This check is being deposited. So, and it's happening about 1 to 2 days after your offer is accepted. Now, during the 5 days attorney review period, when you actually still of course, you can make changes to your contract. Just remember that if you change your mind and if you're gonna cancel the contract during this 5 business days for the attorney review period, this money is coming back to you. This money is not going anywhere. So, but the very important thing is to remember, if you're writing your check from the personal account, the money has to be there because this check will be deposited. Okay, now once you are under contract, you deliver your earnest money. Once they're signed the contract, you are in that 5 business days attorney review period. Now you have a chance to do the inspection. Inspection in the state of Illinois is recommended, but it's not required. So it's your decision to make the inspection or not. Of course, I would always suggest to make an inspection. This is the perfect time when you can learn about the house and you can, of course, discover something that maybe you didn't see the first time around. So inspection on the house that is less than 3,000 square feet may cost anywhere between $300 and $500. And this is the money that you will be paying out of pocket once the inspection is completed. Now, remember this, that the inspection is happening during the first 5 days, the business days during the attorney review. If for any reason after the inspection you decide not to purchase the house, your earnest money is coming back to you, but the money you spent for inspection is spent for the inspection. Inspector did the job, he came by, he spent probably 2 to 3 to 4 hours looking through the house. This was his job. You paid him. This money is gone. Nobody's going to return that money. So just to take that into consideration when thinking about inspection. And of course, after the attorney review period, when everything looks fine, you love the house, we are fully forced under contract, and now you're starting your application for the loan. Your lender will ask you to purchase appraisal on the home. Now, this is something that you probably will have to pay out of pocket. Now, there are some programs out there that will return the money spent for the appraisal at the end of the transaction at the closing table. But I would say 90%. Okay, there's some banks, it really depends which bank you will be going with and what kind of lender credits they can offer to you. But you have to be ready that once the application is in and the lender will ask for the appraisal, that is when you will have to pay for it out of pocket. So that's going to be about $500. So you have to be ready. They're going to ask for your card. They're going to charge that $500. Now, if for some reason this transaction is not going to be completed, your lender, of course, depending on the lender, your lender may or may not help you out with the next purchase, like maybe returning this money, maybe giving you some credit. So again, money spent out of pocket, this money may or may not return to you if the transaction will fall apart. So you have to remember. So far, let's focus on this. So far, we have the earnest money check that's gonna clear about 2-3 days after you go under contract. Then you have your inspection. Yes or no, it depends on you. It depends if you really want to have the inspection done, which I will highly recommend. So that's another $300 to $500. And boom, there's another cost, which is the appraisal up to $500. So we have about, on a house, $250,000 house, we already have $3,500 out of pocket expense. Now, of course, like I said, earnest money is coming out of your down payment. So now there will be no more expenses till we get to the closing. Now at the closing table, you will be asked to bring the rest of your down payment. So depending if that was 3%, 5%, 10%, or 15 or 20%, the remaining money you will have to bring to the closing. And it's usually done by ordering a cashier check at the bank that you're banking with, or you having your account that you will be withdrawing the money for your down payment. And also you will be asked to cover your expenses with the closing, so closing costs. Now closing costs, generally speaking, are about $2,500 plus your down payment. So your down payment, $2,500 for the closing costs, sometimes more. It really depends, of course, on the purchase price. But the down payment, and remember the earnest money you gave, it's a part of your down payment. So we're going to minus that earnest money from that payment. So I hope this is helpful, because I know sometimes we are forgetting, we're getting into that process. We're so excited and then like, oh, there's another 500, there's another 500. Oh, I thought it's going to be a part of the closing, but it's not. This is something that you have to pay out of pocket before the closing is happening. Of course, there's a lot of programs out there that are down payment assistance, which means, there's that program that gives you up to $10,000 toward down payment. So at the closing table, if you are receiving any down payment assistance program, that money will be deducted from your down payment. And like I said, there is sometimes a lot of credit that the lenders are giving. Either if you're buying a points, maybe your credit is extremely good, maybe you are okay with a little bit higher interest rate, and then they can give you better credit, like maybe $1,000, $2,000 for your closing. Of course, that again, the down payment assistance programs. So that final number can change and vary, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands this was the very simple transaction. Let's say we are not taking any programs, we are not getting any gifts or any other assistance programs like down payment assistance programs from the lender. At the closing, you're bringing the remaining of your part of your down payment plus the closing costs. So if you have any questions, of course, I'm here. I'm really happy to help everyone. There's nothing better than making very informed decisions when purchasing a house. This is the biggest purchase of our lives. So I am really hoping that I can be very helpful to you and you will become my clients. The number below, please give me a call. Make sure that you like this. Let me know how I did. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.